And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the organizers, the Observer Research Foundation, or ORF in India, the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, or JBIC, and Keizai Doyukai, the Japan Association of Corporate Executives. We're also grateful to the Ministry of External Affairs of India and our many sponsors for their continuing cooperation and support. We hope that this discussion over the next 2 days will be an avenue for not just cooperation between India and Japan, two anchors in the Indo-Pacific, but also an opportunity to develop themes and on cooperation in the broader Indo-Pacific region, including the Quad, and we'll hear from ambassadors shortly, on issues such as food security and many other topics. We begin this evening's program by hearing from our organizers, and first and foremost, I would like to invite to the stage Tadashi Maeda-san. Maeda-san, as many of you may know, is chairman of the board of the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, and in many ways, this initiative has been his brainchild and a product of his efforts. So without further ado, Maeda-san.
Thank you. I'm Tadashi Maeda, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Japan Bank for International Cooperation, or JBIC. I'm co-hosting this second Raisina Tokyo today. Is my great honor to be a co-host together with my friend Takashi Niinami-san, who is a president of Keizai Doyukai, or Japan Association for Corporate Executive, and my good friend, Dr. Samir Saran, our president of Observer Research Foundation of ORF. So this is the second time. Actually, we did last year as the first time of a Raisina event here in Tokyo. You remember that in 2007, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe made a very historic address at the Indian Parliament. Title is Conference of the Two Seas. This is the starting of the initiative of a free and open Indo-Pacific, or FOIP. Now, a FOIP is a great agenda for many countries and like-minded countries in the region. And now, we share the common value and democracy, and also that the prosperity and stability of the region. Now we face very serious the conflict and controversial situation right now, not just only security or narrowly defined security issues, or economic security, food security, and the ocean health, carbon neutrality, and many, many issues now faced. We need the cooperation or solidarities among the like-minded countries. So this is my great honor, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, and distinguished guests. Actually, we now invited the former Prime Minister, former ministers, also that incumbent Secretary, and also that member of the Parliament of India delegation. We now receive that member of delegation of Indian Parliament, which is my great honor as well. I attended Raisina Dialogue already 4 times since 2022. And I attended many times the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, which is a more narrowly defined the event of a gathering of national security. But now, in terms of the agenda of Raisina Dialogue, is a broader than Shangri-La Dialogue in some sense. It includes economic statecraft and many agenda, which is very important issue like critical mineral supply chain, AI and data center and investment, how to make some connectivity and among those countries and nations. And now this year's Raisina Tokyo focus on the cooperation among that member of Quad. So this is a cornerstone of the stability and the prosperity of the region. We will discuss that many issues, including obviously economic statecraft in the Pacific, deep tech, and a supply chain issue of the critical minerals, and also the carbon neutrality, waste management, waste to wealth, and other deep tech innovation of many issues. And we gather that from politics and business leaders and the experts from academia. So this is a very rich agenda we are now preparing for today and tomorrow. And we are very honored of the presence of a former Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Yoshihide Suga, who is also the chairman of the Japan-India Association. I accompanied him in 2023, his trip to India. And this year, I had a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi twice in March. So this is a very great honor. And we don't just only that's member of the Global Advisory Board of ORF and Raisina. I am the chairman of committee in Global South on India at the Keizai Doyukai. My dear friend, Mr. Takashi Niinami, president of Keizai Doyukai, took this delegation to India. So I visited Delhi and Mumbai twice in March. So this is how I demonstrate that my strong commitment to the Japan-India relations. Now also we invited ambassadors of the Quad members, Ambassador Steve George of Indian Ambassador of Japan, Ambassador Justin Hairhurst, Ambassador of Australia to Japan, and Joe Yang, the acting DCM of the United States. So I'm very much honored to receive all of you. So please enjoy the discussion, and this is probably we bridge it to the years to come to foster our close relationship and strong partnership. Thank you so much.
May I now invite to the stage Takashi Niinami-san. Niinami-san is chairperson of Keizai Doyukai, the Japan Association of Corporate Executives, and chairman and CEO of Suntory Holdings Limited, Japan. Thank you.
Good evening, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. I'm Takashi Niinami, chairman of Keizai Doyukai, Japan Association of Corporate Executives. Thank you, Maeda-san, for kind introduction. Because of your leadership, Suntory decided to invest to Quad countries. You know, Australia, already United States, and India too. Thank you for your strong pathway for us to make a decision. And you are amazing to lead us private sector of Japan and more investment to India, I'm sure. I talked about Raisina Tokyo last year. And to be honest, I felt a little bit dubious that I would be able to co-host with you in the following year, but this happened. As a matter of fact, 3 times. as many as participants. Usually second year, at most twice, but 3 times. Amazing, amazing. I didn't know that until I arrived here. So congratulations, Maeda-san, Samir, and everybody here. As Maeda-san mentioned about our passion of Japan for India and the Quad, definitely that is the passion, demonstration, commitment of Japan's business. I think I should explain what happened at the time of delegation, which was dispatched to India. As a matter of fact, I followed Maeda-san last month, and I went to India twice. And you went to 1 month before twice. So which means most, I think, enlightened business leaders in Japan are visiting India. If not, please visit India. If you want to be recognized business leaders in this country. So now, Keizai Doyukai went to India. First, Mumbai. We had great meetings with the distinguished business leaders, including Mukesh Ambani, Reliance, TSC, and other companies, and I learned a lot. And the message was, Japan must be there. Early is, I think we should enjoy the first mover's advantage in the manufacturing sector. And we visited New Delhi as well. And the key thing that we found is, we found Japan there, which means multi-Suzuki. We visited their factory. Amazing, amazing. I didn't know they have 42% market share of India. They are fighting. And I think they are expanding their footprint, not only India, but also African countries from India. I thought that that's a make in India, which is cited repeatedly by Prime Minister Modi. And that's what we want to pursue. India is not only the market that we pursue to create a footprint, but also we like to make it a hub to produce goods in India and export to other countries. So we learned a lot, and kindly Prime Minister Modi gave us as long as 1 hour. He talked about the early days when he was a governor of Gujarat. And he invited one automobile company. He didn't mention the name. I noticed that. But what he talked about it, Japanese love to play golf. So that's why he set up a golf course for Japanese employees to show welcome to India. And he talked about his early days and his commitment to bring Japanese investment furthermore into India. So I thought as a chairperson of Keizai Doyukai, I need to respond. So that's why we Suntory decided to go for it, and hope the Hibiki Yamazaki will be more popular. But we decided to produce Indian whiskey and Indian soft drink, because a local production is now needed for India, right? So we are very much committed to doing that. And moreover, I believe that not only visiting multi-Suzuki, not only the Suntory's investment to India, we need second multi-Suzuki. We need a third multi-Suzuki in India. That's what we have to do. And out of the companies of Keizai Doyukai, definitely second, third, fourth multi-Suzuki. And there is a textbook. Train and work with the Indian workers, they are very talented. So I think Keizai Yukai has decided to go visit again and again India to promote investment from Japan to India. Not only with that, I think we have the large and medium-sized technology companies, and we have to bridge between Japanese manufacturers to India to transfer technologies and increase investment of production in India. I think that is a big contribution from Japan to India, because there is a compelling fact that now is the time for us to work with India, between Japan and India, and again, Quad countries. I think strongly hope this second Raisina Tokyo will not only deepen Japan-India relations, but also why we are here and what is next. Unlike last year, what we are going to do with the Quad countries as well as India. And Japanese members, please commit yourself to being in India, and at least please visit twice a month to India. And today, I think my colleagues brought Suntory whiskey, and please enjoy. And because of lack of supply of Hibiki Yamazaki, oops, I didn't bring Hibiki Yamazaki bottles. I'm so sorry, but there is a Suntory whiskey. And let's enjoy the Raisina Tokyo. And we will have the candid discussions from today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
I'd like to next invite to the stage Dr. Samir Saran, President of the Observer Research Foundation, ORF, author of many books, including a new book, Geotechnography, Mapping Power and Identity in the Digital Age. Without further ado, Samir.
Thank you, Dhruva. Let me first thank Niinami-san and Maeda-san for giving Raisina a home in Tokyo, in Japan. As I was mentioning to our Foreign Secretary earlier this evening, that all other Raisina dialogues are normally titled by the region or by the wider geography that we are seeking to serve through these conversations. And it is only Raisina Tokyo that has the city in its name, and that it's the special significance of Japan and Tokyo in our appreciation of the partnership. I want to just raise 3 points. One, of course, some acknowledgements and thank yous. Second, some opportunities. And third, which I will begin with, is the period that we are currently experiencing today. Lots of changes since we met last time. Of course, we now have 230 odd participants at this dialogue. So I think Raisina Tokyo is growing. Thank you all for joining us. And I welcome you all from, I think, the 13 countries you are here from. And I hope this conference will bring all of us together into a community of purpose that looks at opportunities and rejects actions and characters and actors that seek to disrupt the global order. We have a delegation with us, a parliamentary delegation from India. Let me first acknowledge them. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we wish you all the best in your journey through this particular region. Please do meet them. Take this opportunity to speak to them. India has experienced a horrific terrorist attack, and there were responses thereafter which had to follow. And if some of you have questions and would like to engage, this is a good evening to meet them as well. They are sitting in the center table, and they are available if in case they have the stamina after a long day to engage with all of you. But a lot has changed. I think the big change that has happened, of course, is that the politics of the world has changed, manifested in a number of elections, but also in a number of decisions and policy formulations around the world that makes some of the assumptions of globalization, some of the assumptions of interconnectedness, some of the assumptions of building communities of purpose more difficult or more complex today. In fact, it might be simple if we were to change our own set of prisms through which we view many of these developments. And if we were to embrace change and find that straight line that connects many of these disparate dots, we might still put together a cohesive future that could serve people, that could serve the broader global community, and that could serve the purpose of an interconnected world. Raisina Tokyo seeks to exactly do that. We seek to engage with the political and security conversations that we must have at this time. We want to discuss the big planetary challenge, the climate and energy nexus that we have to resolve if we have to make peace with this planet. We are going to be discussing, obviously, the deep tech collaborations that were spoken about, something that many in this room in a way incubated during their times in office. And I can see the Deputy NSA from the US here, and of course our Foreign Secretary, who was also part of these conversations. Food and water security, extremely important, sometimes neglected, are going to become one of the principal drivers of politics of tomorrow, and we want to be engaging on that today. We want to build the coalitions and the partnerships and public policy that will address the questions of food security, nutrition security, and many other important human imperatives. We are going to be introducing the circular economy conversation this year at the Raisina Tokyo, and we hope, as Yamamoto-san mentions to me, the waste to wealth paradigm becomes something that can transform economies in the future. But most importantly, we are also introducing a conversation on the subnational drivers of our politics and policies. And we are introducing a section where we want to go below the level of the state and look at some of the provinces and regions in our respective countries and see what is transpiring there and how is that going to implicate foreign policy, national policy, and security policy. I want to thank, at this stage, three sets of people. The first, of course, the Ministry of External Affairs. They are, in many ways, the co-owners and the joint venture partners, the public-private partnership that is the Raisina dialogue today. Ambassador Vikram Misri, thank you so much for coming down. I know it's a very busy time for you, and for you being able to come and do this for us. It shows the importance of building a platform where India can communicate to the world its own aspirations and its own directions, but also hear from the world on their expectations and their investments. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us this evening. Let me also acknowledge the video message we will receive from the Foreign Minister of Japan, and it will be played in a bit, but we thank him for doing that at this time. I want to acknowledge Takeshi Iwawa for his video message. I also want to thank Masaki Ogisho, the State Minister for Economy, who is going to speak to us later this evening. And of course, the three ambassadors, Ambassador C.B. George, Ambassador Justin Hayes, who I know for a long time now from his days in Australia, and of course, Joseph Young, the acting DCM of the US Embassy. But most of all, I want to thank all of you for giving 2 days of your life to us, for joining the Raisina community, for those who are coming the first time, and for those who are returning, keep coming back. I won't ask you to come twice to the same conference each year, but certainly your being part of Raisina is a story of a world that is determined to hold the center, that is determined to treasure collaboration, that is determined to invest in joint prosperity for all. We want a green planet, we want a technology that empowers, and we want a security and defense architecture that maintains stability. So thank you very much for coming here, and thank you to the co-hosts for making Raisina feel at home in Tokyo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are very pleased to have a keynote speech from former Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide. He was Prime Minister of Japan from 2020 to 2021. and was chairperson of the Japan-India Parliamentary Friendship Association.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As has been kindly introduced, I am Suga. I chair the Japan-India Association. So following last year, I am honored to be invited to Raisina, Tokyo. Thank you very much for the kind invitation. Congratulations to the organizers, the ORF, JBIC, as well as Keizai Doyu Kai. First of all, let me offer my sincere condolences to the victims as well as bereaved families of the act of terror that occurred in Kashmir last month. I would also like to offer my heartfelt sympathies to those who have been injured. For whatever the reason, we cannot and never justify acts of terror. We must resolutely condemn any acts of terror. And having said so, I welcome the fact that India and Pakistan have agreed to cease military actions. So going forward, it is important that both countries should go through a dialogue to bring solutions to the problems in order to bring peace and stability to South Asia. International circumstances are becoming increasingly difficult. Thus, the international community must be united to maintain and strengthen free and open international order based on rule of law. Japan and India, who share the fundamental values, need to cooperate continuously to realize peace and stability for Indo-Pacific region, and this is crucial. And for this purpose, it is vital to strengthen the bilateral relationship, especially cooperation in the economic arena. There is great potential to further grow. India has the world's largest population of 1.4 billion. The GDP growth rate is 9.2%, very high level. And the high economic growth of India is supported by the very young, active working force who are young and highly competent. The average age of the working force is at 28 years old. I very much hope that these Indian youth will come to Japan to work here in Japan to support the economic growth of Japan. I very much hope that we will be able to further grow the Japan-India relationship. According to the survey conducted by JBIC last year, for the Japanese companies, India is the country of where Japanese companies have the biggest interest in making potential investment into. And this is because India is promoting Make in India, a policy, and actively inviting investment from overseas. As announced at the Japan-India Summit meeting in March 2022, the 5 trillion yen of public and private sector investment and loans to India in 5 years, I hear that it is very smoothly and successfully building up. In India, not only in manufacturing, but also in various sectors, including environment and healthcare, I very much hope that Japanese businesses will expand their business in India. in order to further strengthen relationship with India, who has very great potential for the future. As the chair of the Japan-India Association, in July 2 years ago, I have visited India leading 103 strong economic community missions comprised of 54 Japanese businesses. And ever since the visit, I am happy that we have been able to see steadfast growth of our bilateral relationship. I would also like to seek a timing moving forward to once again visit India to further accelerate the growth of our bilateral relations, including the economic arena. Japan-India Association will push forward Japanese businesses to be more active in India, and we will actively contribute to the further development of our bilateral relations. In order to strengthen Japan-India relationship, not only in the economic sector, we need to have people-to-people exchanges to expand in a broad-based area, including studying abroad, as well as specified skilled workers program and such. This year is the exchange year for Japan-India Science and Technology Exchange. In order to further expand the cooperation and collaboration between the two countries, we need to further promote cooperation in science and technology. As for association for the people exchanges, as well as science and technology, we would like to continue to work forward for collaboration to be promoted. In this year's Raisina Tokyo, I understand that you will be discussing security, economic partnerships, green energy, and such diverse topics and themes. And today, we have not only representatives from Japan and India, but also from various other countries, including the United States as well as Australia. As Japan and India work closely to try to respond to the various challenges and issues of the international community, it is increasingly important to work in close partnership with the like-minded countries such as United States and Australia. And inclusive of that perspective, and what should be the role to be played by Japan and India, I very much hope that experts will be able to engage in very active discussion to provide with us suggestions. And I very much hope that such a debate will lead to concrete projects so that our bilateral relationship will further grow and lead to the further prosperity and stability of Indo-Pacific region as a whole. And I thank you for your kind attention and congratulations once again.
Thank you. We will next have a ministerial address from Masaki Ogoshi. Ogoshi-san is State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan. Dr. Ogoshi previously worked as an academic and in the private sector, and amongst other responsibilities has been spearheading METI's efforts to revitalize Fukushima. We're very pleased that Ogoshi-san has joined us today to share his thoughts. Thank you.
Dr. Samir Saran, President of ORF, Mr. Maeda, Chairman of the JBIC, and Mr. Niinami, Chairperson of Keizaido Yukai. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for the kind introduction. I am Oguchi Masaki, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry. I would like to express my appreciation to the organizers for inviting me to Raisina, Tokyo today. I would like to also extend my heartfelt congratulations on the grand opening of Raisina, Tokyo, building on the outcomes of the meeting last year. The current global situation is such that it is shaking the rule-based international economic order. Particularly, the announcement of the additional tariffs by the United States has sent a huge shockwave throughout the world. All countries, including Japan and India, are forced to respond. China, meanwhile, responded to the U.S. additional tariffs with harsh retaliatory measures, and for a short while, the two countries appeared to be staging a tit-for-tat battle. Challenged by such heightened uncertainty, we must build a rules-based international economic order, making it all the more important to deepen cooperation among like-minded countries, including India. Due to risks of international divisions and manifestation of uncertainty, economic security is increasingly becoming important. Particularly, we must address two things. First, the risk resulting from overdependence on specific countries, and second, the need to build cooperative relationships that would not weaponize economic dependence with other countries. To mitigate the risk of excessive dependence on certain countries, we can, for example, diversify suppliers. To that end, those on the demand side must appreciate non-price values such as supply stability that diversification of suppliers can bring about. In Japan, the government is trying to stimulate this kind of mindset on demand side through subsidies and other measures. But I believe that the countries need to A, agree to allow each other to introduce such policy to the minimum extent necessary, and B, harmonize each other's policies. My second point, to establish a cooperative relationship that does not weaponize economic dependence, we can, for example, avoid export restrictions which cannot be justified and help each other by sharing resources when needed. I think countries which can agree on this can be considered reliable partners in the supply chain. Some of these elements are already included in the CPTPP and IPEF supply chain agreement, which India has also joined. I believe it is necessary to first establish rules that reflect this way of thinking among like-minded countries, and then, if possible, share them with as many countries as possible. India and Japan share fundamental values, and we upgraded our relationship to special strategic global partnership in 2015, making this year the 10th anniversary. India and Japan are also cooperating in the Quad, for which India holds the presidency this year. I understand India will be hosting the Leaders' Summit in Delhi. Japan looks forward to meaningful discussions on strengthening economic relations with the countries involved. The Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry launched the Japan-India Industry Co-Creation Initiative in 2023 to promote economic cooperation with India. To advance cooperation aimed at creating future industries such as semiconductor, the METI is leveraging the Global South Grant. In addition to support the development of existing industries such as manufacturing, the ministry is promoting the cultivation of manufacturing talent and the development of highly skilled IT professionals focused on future industries like semiconductor and AI. This effort includes strengthening talent exchange between Japan and India through a coordinated national initiative, including the METI. In February this year, we launched the Japan-India Cooperation Initiative for sustainable economic development in Africa, announcing plans to collaborate with India to promote industrial clustering in India, establish it as a global manufacturing hub, and facilitate exports to third countries such as Africa, as well as private sector-led business and investment in African countries. In November last year, we held the Japan-India Economic Security Dialogue to discuss the potential for future economic security cooperation. Building on the discussion at the dialogue, the METI is currently coordinating efforts with the private sector to establish a business pillar. While India has the world's largest population and strong workforce in IT and software fields, Japan faces decline and aging of the population, but still has a large pool of skilled workforce in manufacturing. I believe we can together form a relationship of formidable complementarity. Building a resilient supply chain requires partnership among reliable partners. By leveraging our complementarity and strengthening cooperation through various frameworks such as Quad, India and Japan can contribute not only to our own development, but also to further growth of the world economy. Finally, I look forward to meaningful discussion at Raisina, Tokyo this year, leading to deeper understanding among participants and stronger network among ourselves as like-minded countries. One last point before I close. Osaka Kansai Expo, which opened last month, has been receiving many visitors. I sincerely hope that you will also take this opportunity to visit the expo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now have a video address from Takashi Niinami, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Japan. Iwaya-san previously served also as Defense Minister of Japan. Thank you.
Dr. Saran, President of ORF, Mr. Maeda, Chairman of the Board of JBIC, Mr. Niinami, Chairman of Keizai Doyukai, distinguished guests, esteemed participants. Good evening. I am Takashi Niinami, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan. On the occasion of Raisina, Tokyo, I would like to extend my sincere greetings. First, I wish to convey my deepest condolences to the victims and grieving families of the terrorist attack that occurred in Kashmir on April 22nd. I also extend my heartfelt sympathies to those who were injured. Terrorism cannot be justified under any circumstances. Japan unequivocally condemns all forms of terrorism. In this regard, we welcome the recent agreement between India and Pakistan to stop all firing and military action. I have spoken with both Dr. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs of India, and Mr. Dar, Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, to convey the need for all concerned parties to take responsible actions for peace and stability in South Asia. Japan remains firmly committed to contribute to the peace and stability of the region. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers, the ORF, JBIC, and Keizai Doyukai for their dedicated efforts in making it possible to convene Raisina Tokyo once again this year, following the success of last year. This year's conference, I hear, will feature in-depth discussions over the course of 2 days on a wide array of pressing global issues, including security, economic partnerships, and green energy. Japan and India continue to deepen collaboration across a broad spectrum of areas, including security, economic cooperation, and people-to-people exchanges. Recent recently, we have also initiated consultations aimed at enhancing concrete cooperation in the field of economic security. India, as a leading voice of the Global South and a nation with whom Japan shares fundamental values, is an indispensable strategic partner. I remain steadfast in my commitment to ensuring that Japan and India work hand in hand to lead the international community toward prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region and to address global challenges. In conclusion, the advancement of Japan-India relations, which encompass a wide range of cooperative endeavors, requires not only intergovernmental collaboration, but also robust partnerships among industry, government, and academia. I sincerely hope that the discussions held at this year's Raisina Tokyo will serve to further strengthen the bonds between our two nations. Thank you.
This evening, for our spotlight address, we're very privileged to have Vikram Misri, Foreign Secretary of India, joining us. He will speak shortly. Shri Misri previously served as Deputy National Security Advisor in India and as India's ambassador to China, Myanmar, and Spain. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dhruva. Chairman JBIC, Maeda-san, Chairman Keizai Doyukai Niinami-san, President of ORF, Dr. Samir Saran, distinguished members of the delegation of parliamentarians and political leaders from India, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, konbawa, good evening. It is my distinct pleasure to address Raisina Tokyo 2025. I thank the Observer Research Foundation, the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, and Keizai Doyukai for hosting this event in Tokyo for the second year in a row, bringing a new address and a new home to India's signature foreign policy and strategic affairs dialogue. I'm also glad to note that this year's dialogue has put a special focus on the economic dimension of our ties, which is extremely timely. Before I go on, let me express a word of appreciation for the sentiments that we heard just now from Foreign Minister Takashi Niinami, before him by former Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. During my discussions with several colleagues earlier today, I heard similar sentiments. India is deeply appreciative for the support that has been extended by Japan as we have dealt with the tragedy that took place on the 22nd of April in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir in India. While I welcome these statements, I also want to note for everybody's consideration that as we deal with the scourge that is terrorism, that doesn't distinguish and that impacts everybody in the world from time to time, that it is important not to equate the victim and the perpetrator of these attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, after a smooth ride spanning decades, the global economy today finds itself in somewhat uncharted waters with uncertainties at their highest in recent memory. First came the tremor of the COVID-19 pandemic. On its heels came the supply chain aftershocks, wars and conflicts, big, middling, and small, followed. And amid all this, trade and technology are being weaponized as never before. Every country is countering emergencies. Every continent is assessing contingencies. For governments, economic security has become as critical a policy priority as economic prosperity. And for business managers, just in case has replaced just in time. New diplomatic and industrial alignments are taking shape across borders for ensuring economic resilience and technology security on the basis of trust, a commodity that is itself in short supply. As a result, new imperatives of geoeconomics and geotechnology are upending the old premises and promises of globalization. What lies ahead? Can countries like India, with an enormous task of ensuring the development and prosperity of 1.4 billion people, trace the same path trodden by others in the halcyon days of globalization? In an increasingly fragmented and polarized world, how can India be a bridge between North and South, between East and West? What value does India bring to a country like Japan? And what values do the two countries showcase together to the world at large? These are weighty questions that our two nations and stakeholders, such as those present here today, need to ponder. I stand here tonight to make the case that India is determined to become a fact and a factor of stability in a world of turbulence. India's ability to maintain a stable macroeconomic outlook, to demonstrate political and institutional stability, to uphold democratic values, and to contribute to global public good and multilateral problem solving gives it both credibility and agency. Located at the geographic, demographic, and economic heart of Asia, India's choices will have ever more important consequences for our continent and beyond in these tumultuous times. Friends, India continues to be an attractive destination for global capital. Our foreign exchange reserves have surpassed $690 billion, and retail inflation has declined to 3.16% in April 2025, the lowest in nearly 6 years, offering confidence to investors and consumers alike. With a 1.4 billion strong population that is relatively young, with a median age of less than 29 years and a rising middle class, India is not only one of the largest consumer markets globally, but also one that will maintain this profile for well into the second half of this century. On the supply side of the equation, it also represents a large, dynamic, and talented workforce that can play a defining role in our planet's technology-mediated future. In recent years, India has made a strategic shift towards manufacturing-led growth to position itself as a vital node in global supply chains. The Make in India initiative, which started in 2014, has revitalized industrial growth by fostering investment in a range of areas, including electronics, defense, pharmaceuticals, and textiles manufacturing. The production-linked incentive scheme, covering 14 key sectors, is projected to attract $520 billion in investment and counts over 24 Japanese companies among its beneficiaries. India has allocated $10 billion to develop a semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem. We are also nurturing semiconductor-ready talent, which will supplement similar efforts by Japan to rediscover its traditional strength in this sector. As the fourth largest vehicle producer in the world, India is accelerating its shift to electric vehicles through targeted policy support, such as the FAME-2 scheme and incentives for battery manufacturing. This is an opportunity to recreate the India-Japan success of Maruti Suzuki in the new age that Chairman Niinami was talking about a short while ago. Ladies and gentlemen, to spur domestic and global capital, India has undertaken far-reaching reforms that foster a transparent, efficient, and predictable business environment. Foreign direct investment limits have been liberalized across sectors, including defense, insurance, and space technology, and automatic approval routes have been widened. Several states, including Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu have established dedicated investment facilitation agencies to provide single-point support to businesses. Between 2014 and 2020, India rose from 142nd to 63rd in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings, reflecting improvements in business registration, access to credit, contract enforcement, and property registration. And even though the rankings themselves have gone, India has continued to climb up the ladder of economic and business reform. The simplification of India's complex labor regulations into 4 unified labor codes has reduced the compliance burden while balancing workers' rights with industry flexibility. Legal reforms have done away with nearly 39,000 business compliances and decriminalized hundreds of minor offenses, reducing the litigation burden for enterprises. The simplification of the tax system through the introduction of the goods and services tax has replaced a patchwork of state-level taxes and created a unified national market, enabling smoother interstate commerce. India's insolvency and bankruptcy code has transformed corporate insolvency resolution by creating time-bound processes, improving creditor confidence, and encouraging responsible business conduct. The government stands firm in its commitment to transparency in service delivery. Portals like the National Single Window System now offer streamlined access to over 150 different approvals and clearances from central and state authorities, drastically cutting paperwork and the time taken to start a business. Digital tools such as MCA 21 and GSTN allow for easy filing, tracking, and compliance. During the course of discussions today with colleagues, I received suggestions for further business facilitation ideas, and I want to assure my colleagues that I will flag these to our authorities back in India. Friends, India's infrastructure development in recent years has been both strategic and transformative, complementing the government's manufacturing push. The PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan has integrated planning across ministries to align investments in roads, railways, ports, and airports, thereby reducing logistics costs and improving competitiveness. The Bharatmala initiative has aimed to upgrade and construct 65,000 kilometers of highways, ensuring smoother cargo and passenger movement across the country, while the Sagarmala project focuses on enhancing port infrastructure and connecting hinterlands to coastal regions. The Indian Railways is also undergoing rapid modernization with ambitious goals such as full electrification, smart station upgrades, and the development of dedicated freight corridors. Japan has been our preferred partner in urban mobility, with metro rail emerging as the new ambition of even second-tier cities in India. In addition, the dedicated freight corridor represents a new feature of Indian logistics. Of course, the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor is our flagship initiative and could be yet another test case of our ability to work with Japan to redefine passenger connectivity. Aviation infrastructure is seeing unprecedented growth through the UDAN scheme, which is enabling regional air connectivity to previously underserved areas. India plans to operate over 200 airports by 2040, supported by integrated logistics parks that improve last-mile freight movement. Energy infrastructure has also seen impressive advancements. India is now the world's third-largest renewable energy producer, driven by solar, wind, and hydropower. With an ambitious target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel capacity by 2030, India is building a green and sustainable industrial base. Here again, India and Japan can write a new story together in domains like green hydrogen. Ladies and gentlemen, India is leveraging technology in a big way to craft efficient business and governance solutions. The Digital India Mission has revolutionized public service delivery, bringing e-governance, online education, and telemedicine to rural and urban populations alike. India's national AI strategy is employing artificial intelligence to enhance productivity in sectors such as agriculture, smart cities, and healthcare. Since the commercial rollout of 5G in 2022, mobile broadband spreads have improved dramatically. Affordable internet access and widespread smartphone usage have democratized digital opportunities across the country. Taking advantage of this, India's startup ecosystem has boomed in the last decade, particularly in fintech, agri-tech, clean energy, and health tech, and continues to attract international venture capital. India's space program is another area that continues to break new ground with missions like Chandrayaan and Gaganyaan, and the opening up of the satellite fabrication and launch sector to private enterprises has amplified innovation. These are yet more areas in which Japan's capital and business applications can fuse with India's tech-powered innovation to deliver much-needed alternatives to the world. In parallel with all of these, there has also been a strong focus in India on education and skilling to equip our young population to be future-ready with the skills required for the new industrial revolution. Here too, India and Japan are already working together on some ambitious initiatives. Friends, with its strategic focus on manufacturing, digital empowerment, infrastructure, and global engagement, India is not only future-ready, it is shaping that future. As the world reconfigures supply chains and reinvents global collaboration to deal with turbulence, the special strategic and global partnership between India and Japan can emerge as one of the most significant relationships in the 21st century, not only for its economic promise, but also for the close alignment on principles, such as strengthening the rules-based order, strategic autonomy, and sustainable growth. The expanse of our bilateral partnership is today reflected through arrangements in areas as wide-ranging as industrial competitiveness, clean energy partnership, digital partnership, semiconductor supply chains, infrastructure development, energy, space, food processing, science and technology, healthcare, and R&D cooperation. Our trilateral cooperation with third countries also holds promise, as seen in the recently launched India-Japan Cooperation Initiative for Sustainable Economic Development in Africa. In the field of investment, Japanese enterprises are awakening to the potential of India, as seen in the annual JBIC survey on promising countries for overseas business, where India has consistently ranked first in recent years. In 2022, our two countries had set a target of 5 trillion yen in public and private investment and financing from Japan to India from 2022 to 2027. Of this, 3.7 trillion yen were realized by August 2024, well before the halfway mark in time scale. We hope to see greater private sector investment from Japan and a manifold increase in the number of Japanese corporations operating in India. Businesses in Japan must also recognize the immense pool of skilled personnel available in India to meet the changing needs of Japan. We in India would like our young manpower to learn from the work ethic that made Japan an industrial powerhouse so that we can also realize our own manufacturing ambitions. It is natural, therefore, that our two governments are investing in the language and other soft skills needed to fully develop this potential. We also encourage Japanese businesses to diversify the trade basket with India by expanding into new sectors such as digital services, renewable energy, critical minerals, and semiconductors. A broader trade engagement across sectors will not only unlock new business potential, but also enhance economic stability, reduce overdependence on concentrated markets, ensure supply chain resilience, and strengthen long-term economic security for both India and Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, moments of disruption can also be moments of great beginning, but they need to be channelized and embraced as such. Both India and Japan are witnessing profound uncertainties as globalization enters a new phase. but India has the confidence to make it work for us. We believe we are fundamentally and structurally well placed to navigate this phase in partnership with Japan rather than in competition. The challenge before us, for governments and businesses alike, is to wake up to these opportunities of a new day. This will require deeper commitment, more efforts, and real perseverance. Together, I'm confident that we can build a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous world. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
As Maeda-san said earlier, the Raisina Tokyo is a venue to deepen Quad collaboration and discussions, and we have officials and participants from both the US and Australia joining us today and tomorrow. We're therefore pleased to have 3 senior diplomats from Japan's 3 Quad partner countries with us today. First, we'll hear from Ambassador Sibi George, India's ambassador to Japan, followed by Justin Hayhurst, Australia's ambassador to Japan, and I should mention he was previously the senior Quad official in Canberra. And after that, we'll hear from Joseph Young, acting Deputy Chief of Mission at the US Embassy, Tokyo. Ambassador George.
Thank you, Sri Dhruv Jaishankar. Thank you, ORF. Happy to see Raisina Tokyo 2.0 becoming a reality. I recall attending the first Raisina Tokyo, and exactly as Niinami-san has said, I am so happy to see the numbers, not twice, 3 times the numbers. And I look forward to attending Raisina Tokyo 3.0 next year. As I look around today, here in this audience, I see so many familiar faces. Leaders in politics, business, and many experts and scholars on foreign policy and security policy who have contributed immensely in building India-Japan special strategic and global partnership. And almost all who are familiar with Indo-Pacific, the many challenges it faces today, and the positive role that Quad plays in facing these challenges. Before I get into Quad and Indo-Pacific, I would like to thank the leadership of ORF, JBIC, and Keisai Doyukai for keeping this going, Raisina Tokyo 2.0 going, and also for the great effort they are putting in to further strengthen India-Japan relationship. As ambassador of India to Japan, I have been here for more than 2 years. And I had the great privilege of traveling all across this beautiful country. I visited all the 47 prefectures, and some of them multiple times. And what I could see is exactly what our colleagues spoke in the beginning. I could see a momentum for India-Japan relationship at every corner of this country. You go to any corner, you see that there is that interest for India's economic growth and to partner with that. I am talking about not only big companies, small and medium-scale companies too. And it is very important that we convert this momentum into concrete business engagement. And that is what Niinami-san mentioned that, and I see that the number of delegations visiting from India to Japan and Japan to India, it has grown so much. So I'm confident that we will be able to convert this momentum into concrete outcome, and our relationship will continue to grow. Dear friends, we have multiple geopolitical and geoeconomic challenges around us. In the next 3 minutes that I have here, I would like to focus on one major challenge that we face today, and that is the scourge of terrorism, especially the cross-border terrorism, which Foreign Secretary had mentioned in his speech. The international community has time and again recognized terrorism as one of the greatest threats that humanity faces. The Quad leaders, in their joint statement issued last year, unequivocally condemned terrorism and violent extremism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism, and committed to strengthen their capability to prevent, detect, and respond to threats posed by terrorism and violent extremism, including threats posed by the use of new and emerging technologies for terrorist purposes. They called for accountability for the perpetrators of terrorist attacks. Dear friends, we are meeting today exactly 1 month after the gruesome cross-border terror attacks in Pahalgam in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir on April 22, when they perpetrated by a group that has been sheltered and supported by Pakistan. Innocent tourists were mercilessly killed in front of their family and their children after being segregated on the basis of their religion. It was the most brutal terrorist attack on civilians in India after the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai in 2008. On May 7, India decided to respond by targeting the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in a decisive, measured, proportionate, non-escalatory, and responsible manner through Operation Sindoor. As Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, said, Operation Sindoor has carved out a new framework, new benchmark in our fight against terrorism. India, like other responsible countries around the world, has a zero tolerance to terrorism. Dear friends, today we have with us an all-party parliamentary delegation from India, which Maeda-san has mentioned in his remarks, led by Sri Sanjay Kumar Jha, and they are present here right with us. They are here to have a face-to-face interaction with the leadership of Japan and the think tanks and the media community to explain and to narrate India's fight against terrorism. And I thank the leadership of Japanese government and the civil society here, being one of the first to come out and express their heartfelt sympathies and condolences to our leadership immediately after the terror attack in Pahalgam. I received so many phone calls and messages from our friends in Japan who expressed their sympathies with us, and also very strong words supporting us in our fight against terrorism. Today, the delegation which is here from India, the parliamentary delegation, had met the Foreign Minister of Japan, His Excellency Mr. Iwaya, and also former Prime Minister Mr. Suga. And they have shared their sentiments with the Japanese side. And let me tell you, they reiterated their condemnation of terrorism and support for us in our fight against terrorism. So I once again thank the Japanese leadership for their continued support to India in this fight against terrorism. Dear friends, I would like to conclude by thanking ORF, JBIC, and Keisai Doikai-san for making Raisina 2.0 a reality. And I look forward to seeing in Tokyo again next year for Raisina Tokyo 3.0. Thank you.
Ambassador Hayhurst, please.
Thank you very much. My congratulations to JBIC, to ORF, to Keizaido Yukai, and a welcome to all distinguished guests here this evening. I acknowledge the Australian participants, including former Minister for Foreign Affairs, Marise Payne, who's with us. She exemplifies a very important trend in the Quad. Through Australia, we have now had 3 female foreign ministers in a row since 2013. So I want to acknowledge that. Through her successor, Penny Wong, is at the moment in the Pacific, standing up for the security and sovereignty of smaller nations in the Indo-Pacific, something that the Quad is also about. I want to confine my remarks briefly to the Quad. The Quad exemplifies, I think, a realization between 4 great maritime democracies, the United States, Japan, India, and Australia, that peace and security don't just happen by themselves. They have to be, the quality of stability, free and open skies on which so much of the Indo-Pacific relies, that requires work, it requires collaboration, and it requires clear strategy. And my belief, as someone who's worked on the Quad for a long time, is that at a moment of disruption, turbulence, it's going to require our 4 countries working through all their very many regional partnerships, not just to talk about these issues, but to act, to pursue them, to protect them, and to advance them. So, as a representative in Japan of a great Indo-Pacific nation, Australia, I want to underscore our commitment to working with Japan, to working with India, to working with the United States, and to working with all our partners for peace, stability, freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, and for secure connectivity. The Quad will work on maritime security, cyber security, secure connectivity, supply chain security, and together we will secure the Indo-Pacific future that all of our citizens deserve. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening, everyone. And first, let me thank the organizers of Tokyo Raisina for inviting me to share a few thoughts with you and for using a much younger photograph of myself. I think I'm the last thing standing between everyone and dinner, so I'll make my comments appetizer-sized. I'd like to pass along first Ambassador Glass's best wishes for everyone here today. Unfortunately, he's in Osaka on his first official visit to the Kansai region and to the Expo, where I believe it's UK Day. But he's looking forward to working with his Quad counterparts in the months and the years ahead. The Raisina Dialogue's return to Tokyo is a fitting nod to the man who was instrumental in the Quad's birth and evolution over the last 2 decades. It was the late Prime Minister Abe, as Chairman Maeda reminded us, who first recognized the imperative for a strategic partnership to uphold the international rules-based order in the Asia-Pacific. His concept of a strategic diamond and his vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific, where, as he told the Indian Parliament in 2007, people, goods, capital, and knowledge can flow freely now, form the core tenets of the Quad mission. The Prime Minister's determined efforts even earned him the title, the father of the Quad, or we might even say the Quad father. In a sense, he made us an offer we couldn't refuse. Although I should point out that it was his blend of quiet diplomacy and perfectly pitched comments that helped to make a shared common outlook and a framework for the 4 partner countries. The Quad has come a long way since its navies joined forces to help survivors in the aftermath of the devastating 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. After that, President Trump fully embraced the concept, and then President Biden adopted the concept completely from President Trump. Imagine that, a policy in which President Biden and President Trump saw eye to eye. I don't know if there's another policy that enjoyed that rare distinction. Of course, its existence couldn't be more relevant or necessary in today's uncertain geopolitical environment. President Trump is now back in office, and his administration has made that clear at the start of the year when Secretary of State Rubio, on his first full day on the job, hosted foreign ministers of Japan, India, and Australia in Washington. Since then, Secretary Rubio has stated repeatedly that the United States will not accept bullying and coercive behavior in the Indo-Pacific. Instead, the Quad, along with the U.S.-Japan alliance, has helped to solidify a foundation in the region upon which nations can build prosperity. The Quad is also strengthening maritime security for millions in the region through joint naval exercises, training, and the provision of special equipment. This part of our work is critical to our mission of keeping shipping lanes and international waters open and trade between nations flowing. At the same time, projects to modernize and upgrade infrastructure, energy grids, communication networks, and healthcare access are enabling countries to attract investment from private sector partners and stimulate economic growth. Combined, these initiatives offer the people of the region a future of sustainable economic growth and peace. So tonight, it's worth remembering the late Prime Minister Abe's determination to build an Indo-Pacific of opportunity through collaboration and cooperation. The solidarity he fostered within the Quad will ensure that this partnership continues to transform lives across the Indo-Pacific for the better. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Ambassador George, Ambassador Hayhurst, and DCM Young for your remarks. Last but not least, I'd like to invite back to the stage Niinami-san again for a toast. Please raise your glasses to join him, and this will lead to our inaugural dinner.
I
Niinami-san.
guess everybody's hungry now and thirsty, so make it short. Thank you, ORF, for organizing this wonderful event. And I'm sure that we'll be discussing, honestly, I think so candidly tomorrow, because we will cover so wide range of the issues. It will be very interesting. And as Ambassador talked about, we will have the third Raisina Tokyo next year. But to make that happen, we have to make this year very successful. So let me propose a toast for very successful Raisina Tokyo, which will start, discussion from tomorrow. So please raise glasses to make a toast. For the our friendship, partnership, and very successful Raisina Tokyo. Cheers! Thank you very much.
Dinner is now available. Please help yourself to dinner that's being served. Thank you.